So, where are we? Mailbag Thursday now. Just getting ready to go out to the hospital for the respiratory clinic, but we've had the Royal Mail do a quick delivery. Guy posted them out fairly quick. I won this Megapoints controller. It's not for servos, it's for solenoids, which obviously my system will run both, mainly because I've got a considerable amount of solenoids, so there's no point in wasting them. So I managed to pick, this is the first one I've bought for solenoids. Got it for a good price. I think it was about 16 quid, which is well under half the asking price. I think the guy's got more of them to come, because he did send me a message. I don't think he's a railway person. I don't know whether he's selling a friend's deceased layout or whether he's bought one on the premise that he can make a foo bob, but he's a bit lacking knowledge in anything railway related, so he's just sort of quizzing me with a few questions, and I thought he might be sort of obviously offering to trade some bits, but he'd got some other pieces he'd already sold, but he probably should have packaged them with some other little boards, detector boards that should have gone with it. But to cut a long story short, he said he'd got some more of these boards. Didn't offer them to me. I wasn't sort of going to fall into a hole and pay too much for them. But he mentioned he'd got some more. He was wondering whether to sell them as job lots or individuals and bits and pieces. But he happened to mention he'd got another one, which he presumed was broken because the yellow bit was missing. But he didn't send me a picture. All I had was, the stock picture that was used for the advert, so I presume he meant the capacitor here, which is on the power in put aside. So I said, well, yeah, it could potentially mean there's an issue. So he said, what should I do with it? I said, well, he said, I'm thinking about selling, listing it spares or repairs. I said, well, fine, yeah. I said, someone might buy it assuming that they can solder. I said, which seems to be a bit of a dying art for model railways. So he said, well, and then he messaged me back just to say thank you, and he said what he was going to do was just put it with a job lot and offer it as a freebie, including in the next lot. And I said, yeah, fine. I said, well, I used to sort of solder for a living, so I sort of wished him the best, and that was it. And then he messaged me back and said, oh, I've decided to put it in with your lot for free. So I ended up with 2 boards for the price of 1. Although, assuming that it just needs a capacitor, I thought, well, obviously I've got the one there, I can look at the value and simply just put a replacement in. But it looks like David at Megapoints has done a revision, although the number on the board is still the same. It's actually bridged, so obviously they found they didn't need to use it, or there's another change in the circuit. So actually it's not broken, it's just a modification of the circuit. So that was a win-win. It's a late night Monday opening session. We've got some sample trees, or I don't know whether it was someone's leftovers or one of the sample packs. Quite good size there, the Woodland Scenics armatures that you can bend and twist around, shape, trim off. There's sort of conifers in there and hardwood type trees, and a bunch of clump foliage to stick to them to turn them into something a bit more realistic. They cost me about £6.60 I think with the postage, so not too bad. Package number 2 hasn't fared very well. I can't show you the full extent of the damage because it's right where my address is written, but I think it's more to do with the flimsy box. The contents of the warehouse skip. It's a Koppelberg box that was used. Remember them for my warehousing days. And picking several broken bottles up. Bachmann Intermodals. Obviously they're just the skellies only, not the ones with the containers, which is just as well, because they seem to be going for about £10 more than they used to make last year. But I went for these as I've got another set of skelly only, the frames, But obviously, as you know, I've got several containers now. But these ones have got the little feet that clip the containers to the bodywork, which Bachmann in their infinite wisdom don't make as a spare part, because every time you buy these second hand, someone's broke them all off, left them in their spares box, or lost them, so you never seem to be able to pick any up for sensible money. There is someone that 3D prints them, but they're not cheap for, well, I mean the price is not bad, but you don't get a lot for your money, shall we say. Well, I think the new postie's getting a bit perplexed by the regular deliveries. Probably thinks I'm a drug smuggler now. Box number 1. I do have a few of these. I bought them because they were a good price. So, yeah, there's not beyond the realms of possibility they might resell for more money than I purchased them for, but I will wait and see when they're put into their situation, because as some of you know, Campbell's used to have a factory in my town with railway served sidings, and they had these PVAs or Bs, whatever they are, Gs. Some of these weren't liveried up quite often, but there was usually only 2 or 3 in a rake at the most on a Speedlink service, and they'd go out through March to wherever they were being distributed to. But if I've got the room to do a rail served factory of said name, a representation of the former place in town, I'm going to have a go. And again, we have more HAA, MGRs, call them what you will. This is a bit of a mixed bag, but you know, I have to take the rough with the smooth. We do have an EWS one, which not the end of the world. I can obviously camouflage that, paint out, or even change the cradles, because obviously EDS is well past the area I'm going to model. This is obviously a later one with the plastic couplings. There are, I think, 2 missing again. So fortunately, in my previous video you can see I purchased a quantity of them for this very sort of scenario. So we can get a coupling back on that one. And this one, they've removed it and put an LED in to simulate an end of train light, which obviously wrong colour, wrong place. So I don't know why they've done that, but it don't work. They did state in the description it doesn't work, so either the LED's expired or it's not making contact, but either way I will remove that and put a coupling back on. And if I do my own train lamps, have you seen on other videos? An intriguing looking box. I thought that was a model building or something, but I haven't won anything in that category for a while. Let's have a look. It's actually 2 boxes, one taped together a bit precariously, and it has took a bit of a hammer, and it's a fairly beaten up box anyway, but no packaging, it was just wrapped in newspaper. So, trepidation. Let's have a look, see if they're in one piece. Well, they appear miraculously to be in one piece, I think, on initial examination. Some of them have had the axles glued up, or the bogies, as they proved problematic, I think, on some layouts. But the various bits that are prone to breaking are all still there, and they're obviously the early ones because they've got the metal wheels, most of them. Well, 2 and 2. I don't know, one load comes out. Whoops. Someone spent a bit of time doing that. But the packaging, oh my god. Get that back in. We've got the, I don't know whether they put these on to increase the capacity or just to reduce the risk of the load coming away. One of them's a bit warped. There's actually one more than what was advertised. They're not going on them anyway, so. But yeah, the squishy box, and that was the packaging to save it from a fatality. A strip of newspaper and the leftovers from a bit of sticky back. Yeah, packaging nil point. Scalar cool. O gauge. Well, at least they're in one piece. That's one thing. Well, I hope they are. We've got bent coupling rod, but nothing major. And the second box with equal packaging for a business seller. You think they'd know better, but they are. So we have the Communal Garden ones that were in many a train set. I have quite a few of these, and as like most people, they clean them up, spray them black and stick some warning labels on them. This one's certainly done some miles around a dirty track. And that one needs no comment really, does it? That or the Kellogg's one. And an operating, I presume it's a non-operating one. Someone's put some pins in there. I don't think the other one's got them in it. Still works, but I have got the full set boxed mint one of those to put on the layout. Even though they are a bit toy-like, I don't care. I always wanted one as a kid, couldn't afford it. Now I've got 3. I've got the BR coach version as well. So it'll be good play value when the grandson's watching it one day, won't it? He might even end up with that one. And of course, just for a change, these cool things, can't remember what they're called, overpriced Hornby wagons. So yeah, that was all part of one lot and part of the reason for buying it. What, if nothing else, I can use the bogies for one of my other coaches if it was going to be a bit naff, but it might survive. The McVitie's and Kellogg's type ones I've got, again, as you know, you buy job lots, they're a bit like the brake vans, you end up with loads. So I might have a cull once I've, you know, got my room built and I can open the boxes and go through all my stock and decide what should it stay or should it go. So yes, 2 more. Not quite there. We do need a few more.